Hello, friends. You've stumbled across a short clip from the Daily Switch 2 podcast, which, believe it or not, is a podcast that is about the Switch 2 with new episodes released daily. What will they think of next? My main problem, probably my number one problem with the Nintendo Switch 2 system out of the box, and for some people they're going to say, Sam, you are completely over-exaggerating. This isn't a problem. Why does it matter? For me, this is a big issue. It's not an issue for today, but it will be an issue for the future. The Nintendo Switch 2, as I'm sure many of you are aware, it basically needs a day one patch. The first time you turn the system on, you need to connect it to the internet and you need to download a system update. Otherwise, it will not work. So, again, imagine you're a child on Christmas Day and you're opening it up and but your parents are off doing something else. Maybe they're cooking Christmas dinner, whatever. If you don't celebrate Christmas, forgive me. But, you can imagine, a similar situation. A child is not going to understand what's going on, especially a young child. They're going to be excited to play their Mario game or their Pokemon or Animal Crossing or whatever it is that they want to play. Minecraft, Fortnite, I don't know what the kids play nowadays. Old men yelling at clouds. But the first time you turn it on, it's not really a fun, exciting experience in that sense. You're met with a lot of plain text on plain backgrounds, and then you have to connect to the Wi-Fi and then download an update, and that's not going to be something that kids are going to be able to do by themselves. And even if they're older kids, or kidults like me, adults who like having that kind of childlike sense of wonder. And that's one of the reasons why I love Nintendo, man. But it's just not that. One of the things that I really, really don't like about modern gaming compared to old gaming is the fact that you can buy a brand new game and you can plug it in, and before you even are allowed to play it, you have to wait for an hour while it downloads patches. But you could say, well, that doesn't really matter. This is just literally the first time that it's turned on. And parents can do that for the child before they even give it to the child as a present. Christmas Eve, they can get it out and set up the system and then put it back in the box and then wrap it and then give it to the child. And the child never even knows. Okay, yeah, I understand that it's not a big deal in this issue. But here's where it becomes a big deal. This system is not usable without connecting to the internet. Okay, everybody nowadays does have an internet connection. Everybody has Wi-Fi, and if you don't, why are you buying a Switch 2? You've got bigger priorities of things that you need to sort out. But from a system preservation standpoint, again, I am a retro gamer. I still play my systems that I've either owned or have rebought systems that I had since the 1980s, the 1990s. I still play my NES. I still play my Super Nintendo. I still play my DMG Game Boy. They work perfectly. The Nintendo Switch 2, it needs to connect to the Wi-Fi. And imagine that you have somebody buying a sealed system and they're planning on keeping it to resell in the future, or they just want it for themselves for spares, so they buy two systems, one to use and one to keep as a spare for if the first one breaks. And then years down the line, somebody is opening up this brand new sealed console, and it's essentially a paperweight because it is impossible for them to do anything with. This isn't far-fetched. A lot of people have had that exact experience recently with the Oculus Go headset. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my cat. He's meowing at me. I'm just going to let him out the door. Hi, baby. So yeah, if anybody is interested in VR headsets, you'll probably know the Oculus range of headsets from Meta or what the company that used to be Facebook. Some people will tell me, no, Oculus was a separate company and the Oculus Rift was nothing to do with Facebook, and then Facebook bought it. And yeah, I know. But so they released a standalone virtual reality headset called the Oculus Go a few years back, and it was a great little system because it was probably the first virtual reality headset, for the mainstream at least, that you could play, and you did not need to be connected to a beefy PC to play games. It literally had the hardware built into the headset itself. Cool little system, just like the Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest 3 that you can get now. But the Oculus Go is an older model, and it's been discontinued. But you can still buy it now. There are plenty of people picking it up. And if you go on the Oculus Go Reddit, at least 2 or 3 times a week, there will be somebody going onto that Reddit thread going, hey, I've just bought a new Oculus Go. I picked it up on Facebook Marketplace, or I picked it up on eBay, or I bought it in CEX or some kind of game store. I just bought this brand new Oculus Go, and it doesn't work. And that is basically because in order to make the system work, you have to download an app to your mobile phone, and then go through the process of turning the system on, connecting to your mobile phone, connecting to your Wi-Fi through the mobile phone, then going through an onboarding process. And because Meta don't support the Oculus Go anymore, the functionality has slowly disappeared from the app. And it doesn't even warn you that it's not going to work. It just gets partway through the process, says it's going to show you a safety video, and then that video never loads because Meta obviously updated their servers and moved that video to a different location, or deleted the YouTube video or wherever it's streaming that video from. So when you get if you get a factory reset or a brand new sealed Oculus Go, it appears to be fine when you're setting it up, and then it suddenly gets to a part of the system thing where it says, oh, now you have to watch a safety video to tell you about VR, and then it just doesn't work, and you essentially have a bricked system. Now, are there ways to fix it? Yes, absolutely. But you have to essentially be comfortable with, homebrewing or sideloading APKs, and you have to use an Android device. As far as I know, there's no way to do it if you're an Apple user. So basically, for many people who aren't technically minded, the Oculus Go is now essentially a paperweight, even if you buy it brand new. But there are still stores where you can walk into a store and physically buy it, and there are plenty of people selling brand new old stock sealed units on Facebook Marketplace and eBay and places like this, and people getting confused that they've just bought what they think is a brand new virtual reality headset that's not really that old, and it simply doesn't work. It's a paperweight, and that is, I fear that's what's going to happen with the Switch 2. Now, of course, people will say to me, but Sam, of course, that's in the future when Nintendo turn off their servers, and it's probably not going to be for at least 10 years. And by that time, everybody will have cracked the system anyway, and there will be homebrew, and you can sideload pirate apps on there, and you can put emulators on there. Yeah, of course, that's going to happen. But again, not every user is going to be comfortable doing that. And still, you're losing out on that experience of, okay, what is it like to play a stock system, unmodified, exactly how Nintendo intended you to do? I fear that is simply not going to be possible with the Switch 2 in, say, 10 years' time, 20 years' time, whenever the servers don't exist anymore. And for me, that's a real shame, because there are still people to this day unboxing brand new systems that were the systems that they remember from their childhood, whether it's a brand new DMG Game Boy or a Super Nintendo, an NES, or I've even seen, people in their 20s, buying, who are nostalgic for the Wii or for the DS, or going online and buying a brand new sealed Wii and unboxing it and reliving that moment of when they first unboxed that Wii or that DS or whatever their first console was for Christmas or for birthday or whatever. It's a great experience, and that's something that people potentially won't be able to do with the Nintendo Switch 2 in the future. And I understand some people will say, oh, Nintendo have done this on purpose because of leakers and to stop people from getting the system early and from playing it early. And yeah, but it's caused a big problem with people not being able to review the system properly because traditionally, games journalists at least would have been able to have access to the system for maybe 2 weeks to a month before, so they can really get to grips with the system, really feel like they understand it inside and out, really feel like they can give the definitive reviews on all of these games and really tell the customers, oh yeah, the ins and outs. And that's simply not been possible, because even if you did manage to get hold of the system, as I said, I personally managed to get hold of the system a few days before it's available in shops, but was I able to play any games on it? Heck no, because they locked it. So you have to, before you can play any games, before you can do anything, you have to download this day one update. So yeah, I really was, I mean, in this episode, I've been talking about my first impressions, but really that was pretty much all I could do, with the system, having it early. Of course, now that we're on launch day, we can download the patch and everybody can start playing, and everybody's starting on an even playing field. And some people would say, yeah, screw games journalists. This is the modern day. Everybody's got social media. Everybody's an influencer. Everybody can be a journalist nowadays. Yeah, okay, I understand that. And it's fun in a way for everybody to be experiencing everything at the same time. So I understand that, but for me, the real problem is the preservation aspect. And I think that's not very foresighted. But do Nintendo care about that? No. Because are Nintendo making any profit, any money from you playing a system 20 years in the future? No, they want you playing, the Nintendo Switch 7 or whatever they're on by that time. So yeah, it's not a big deal. And for the average person buying the console, you're not buying it because you want to leave it sealed and not touch it for 20 years. You're buying it because you want to play it right now, and you want to play the latest Mario Kart game, and you want to play the Zelda Breath of the Wild in a nice upscaled, smoother resolution, and you don't want to mess with emulation, and you want to do it officially. So this is why you're buying your console on day one or whatever. Or maybe you just really, really want that Nintendo Switch tour, and you don't mind paying the extra money for it. Well, that was funny / sad / informative / stupid, wasn't it? Feel free to mentally redact to make that make sense with the clip that you just heard. I don't know what it was. I'm just recording a bumper. But if you enjoyed the clip, please give it a like. If you'd like to hear more, click subscribe, and you can find all the ways to listen to and support the full daily podcast at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Let's go! Did I sound like I mean that? I do. I really do.